Hey guys, today I'm going to discuss Isaiah Hartenstein and his upcoming free agency. I already touched on him and the deal that the Knicks can give him this offseason in a Knicks video I did about 2 weeks ago. Link is in the description. And I just want to touch on it a little more because there was an interesting article about him and his upcoming free agency by Jake Fischer of Yahoo Sports, where basically there's some speculation that there is some cap space teams like the Thunder, Pistons, or Magic who might be willing to beat the maximum offer the Knicks can give him and steal him away. The most they can give him is 4 years, $72.5 million. So I'm gonna go over that deal again and explain why, if he does return to the Knicks, it's very likely to be that exact deal, and just go over those teams that could offer him a lot more money and kind of dissect if I think it makes sense or not. But before I get into all that, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's still a relatively new channel and it will help a lot with my growth. So this is the 4-year max that the Knicks can give Isaiah Hartenstein this summer. It's with his early bird rights. It starts at $16.2 million, which is a 175% raise off his $9.2 million salary from last season. So this is the most they could give him, $72.5 million. Now, I've been asked, well, why doesn't he take a short-term deal with the Knicks so he could potentially become a free agent next offseason, get full bird rights, and then re-sign for more money? He can then get up to the max theoretically. So the idea behind it is that he would sign a 2-year deal with a player option on the second year, so then he can opt out and become a free agent and sign for more. But that's illegal. When you're signing a contract with early bird rights, the deal must be for at least 2 years, and there can't be any options if it's only a 2-year deal. So this structure is illegal. Then the alternative could be, well, why doesn't he just sign a 1-year deal then? And yeah, he could do that. However, he wouldn't be using his early bird rights. He wouldn't be able to do that 175% raise. Because it's a 1-year deal, he would have to revert to his non-bird rights, and he could only get a 120% raise off that $9.2 million salary, which would limit him to just over $11 million next year. And he hasn't made that much money in the NBA, relatively speaking, to a lot of the other players at his caliber. So I don't think he would want to risk going into next season with just 1 year at 11 million and then hope he plays well enough to get more than the 72.5 million he could get right now with the Knicks. So if he does resign with the Knicks, it's going to be for sure for that 4-year, $72.5 million deal. So now I want to discuss some of the teams that he's been linked to. I'll start with Oklahoma City Thunder. I discussed them last week about their free agency and what I think they should end up doing with their cap space. So they're going to be able to have $33 million in cap space without cutting any of their players on non-guaranteed deals. And I think some of the stuff that they want to do potentially with their cap space is bring back Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, try to lock him up on bigger deals. Maybe they give him a raise this year to do that. And they're definitely going to need some front court players. So I get the theory behind going after Isaiah Hartenstein. So for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to assume that it takes at least 4 for 90 to steal Isaiah Hartenstein away. And that could start as low as 20.9 million. So this is the figure I'm going to use when I'm doing these projections. So they could give him that amount. They still have a good amount of cap space left over. But I don't think that this is where they're going to dedicate their money on another center. Chet Holmgren is going to be the starter and closer. I think they need a more versatile wing player to could potentially be the four. And they already have the other Jalen Williams. I don't think that they're going to spend a ton of money on a center this offseason. They've been extremely patient with the way they've been going about their cap space. Like last year, they only used their cap space to take in bad contracts with draft picks. If they don't find someone that they really like for the long term, I wouldn't be surprised if they just stay patient and do that again with their cap space. Detroit Pistons. They are going to have the most cap space heading into this offseason. They are projected to have about 64.4 million, and that factors in them keeping Simone Fontecchio's $5.2 million cap hold. So they can spend all that cap space at $64 million or so, and then go over the cap to re-sign him to a big deal. I could kind of see it with the Pistons. They could use an upgrade at just about any other position. Now I plugged in Isaiah Hartenstein for that same amount I did with the Thunder, and they'd still have about $45 million in cap space afterwards to spend elsewhere. Now, the thing with the Pistons is Yeah, I could see him fitting there. They could use another center, but I don't know what the Pistons are going to do. They just changed their front office, and it's pretty unclear what exactly they want to do. Do they want to push their flexibility in on pieces that could help them improve the team now, or do they feel like, okay, you know what, last year proved that we're really behind. Do we take a step back and maybe use that cap space to take in some bad contracts and accumulate assets? It's really hard to tell right now. We'll just have to see what happens when it happens. And then the Orlando Magic. They are projected to have 33 million in cap space. They could technically have a lot more, but that would require cutting Mo Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, Joe Ingles. I don't think they want to do that. If you look at the recent history of free agency in the past 2 years, when they've had a cap space, they've been very unaggressive. So I get the feeling they'll just keep these guys and roll with that 33 million. Now, the interesting thing about the Magic is that according to Fisher, they were pretty close to signing him 2 years ago before he signed with the Knicks. So the interest is there, and they could use an upgrade at center. So I plugged in Isaiah Hartenstein at that $20.9 million amount I did in the Thunder Pistons projections, and they still have about $12 million in cap space to pursue other needs elsewhere. Now, I could see it happening mainly because you could still have one of Wendell Carter or Mo Wagner as a backup with those salaries they're making. But the thing to note about the Magic is that this is likely going to be their last offseason with significant cap space. That's because Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs are extension eligible this summer, and they're going to be making a lot of money on their next deals, which will probably eliminate all their flexibility in the 2025 upcoming free agency. And then the year after that, Paolo Banchero will have his presumable max contract kicking in as well. So, if you're the Magic, do you want to use your remaining flexibility on another center? Because I think they have more needs elsewhere. I think they could use more perimeter help, more shooting and spacing. Maybe they want to pursue an answer at point guard, get a facilitator that can really stabilize the roster. So just given the fact that they don't have much flexibility left after this offseason, I'm a little skeptical they'd want to go this deep on Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, they could pursue a trade later. They've got a lot of tradable salary with those expiring contracts. They could part with one of their backup centers to pursue those upgrades later in trades. They have plenty of draft picks available. So, out of all the teams with cap space that are potentially interested in Isaiah Hartenstein, I suppose the Magic make the most sense. And there's definitely a strong case that Isaiah Hartenstein is worth more than the $18 million a year that the Knicks are limited to giving him. If you look at some of the centers in recent years, guys like Jakob Poeltl, Clint Capella, he should probably be earning at least what they're earning, at least $20 million a year annually. But in recent years, the market has not been very kind to centers, and with most teams being pretty set at center, those offers might not come. So, if I had to guess, most likely he does end up back with the Knicks, which seems like a great scenario all around. He still gets life changing money and he gets to stay in a great situation.